regular board meeting, October 23rd, 6 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Yep, Mr. Sterling,
Here.
Mr. Thompson,
Here.
Mr. McKnight,
Present.
Ms. Carlson,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Hastings here, Ms. Meeks is absent.
Chris Arduino, recording secretary.
Terrell Yarbrough, Superintendent.
Shelley Wagner, Human Resources.
Michelle Earp, Curriculum and Instruction.
Jason Dean, Communications and Community Relations.
Josh Rand, Business and Operations.
All right. With that, I turn it over to you.
You can hear him. Yeah. Sounds like a good crowd. Yeah.
Is there a lot of?
So we're excited this evening to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, our friends from Maple Elementary. We got a whole bunch of them, so we need a few moments. Families in, so feel free. So before we do our introductions, we've got quite a few parents and guardians who can come on in. So we might have to just kind of, we just don't have a lot of seating, so you're gonna have to kind of wrap around.
They come this way, too.
Wherever, so you can get a full now. You can, some people can head to the back, you're more than welcome to kind of wrap around this side too.
Easily see over my head.
Standing. I'm right there with you.
Just say I'm here.
If you want, there's room towards the back where you can keep kind of coming around. You got it.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Bloom. So good evening, Dr. Yarbrough and members of the board, for this special opportunity to highlight Maple students in Maple School. This year, one of our school improvement goals is to focus on attendance and tardies and to improve our statistics. So as all of you know, coming here to represent Maple is always a very big deal to me, and I don't just draw names out of a hat or just let anyone come. I have a reason for the children that I invite. And I must say, this group has been the most excited of any group I have ever invited. I had no doubt they were going to show up. They've told me every day they were coming here tonight. How many more days? They've been so excited. So these 16 students that are here tonight representing Maple are a sample of the students from October 10th, from the first day of school till October 10th, did not have any tardies or have any absences from school.
Excellent.
So I'm very proud of them, and parents, I'm also very proud of you as well for just valuing school and valuing education and sending them to school on time and planning things outside of school, outside of the calendar day, because it is important that they're at school. So we are just so appreciative to you and appreciate the job that you're doing. So at this time, I'm going to introduce my sweet friends here. So we have, starting in EC, Archer Smith, Colton Yeager, Noah Allison, Lilith Peterson, Willow Bennett, Gracelyn Taylor, Autumn Williams, Aria Ranger, Jordan George, Amelia Trevino, Sydney Alvin, and Ariana Wagner. Is that my last one down there, Ariana? Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Please stand for the pledge.
Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I promise to take responsibility for my learning and my behavior. I will be caring, honest, and respectful. Maple School is a better place because I'm here today.
Yes, it is.
We definitely have to get a photo of this crew, so if you're gonna all kind of squeeze in this way, and I'm gonna have you face me, and I'm gonna have our board members come around, and we're gonna get a quick photo, okay? So if you guys can come this way.
Thank you for the invite.
You're front. Thanks.
Stay up here. Go back.
Yeah, you can see it. Perfect. Perfect.
It's all right, just a fixed bill.
One, two. Oh yeah, cheese. 1, 2, 3. Get out of the way. All right, awesome job. Good job.
We need a mid-meeting, just to re-up the pledge.
I need a motion and a second to appoint Megan Hastings, Secretary Pro Tem.
Motion.
Second.
Yes, Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson? Aye. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye. I need a motion and a second for approval of the agenda.
Motion. Second.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson? Aye. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
All right, Dr. True.
All right, thank you. Again, that is hard to follow up. I mean, they were loud and proud, and it was great. So the mission of the Harlem Consolidated School District as a vital part of the community is to help diverse learners realize their limited potential by providing an educational program dedicated to academic excellence and the development of strong character in a safe and respectful learning environment. I must say, the Maple students embodied that, because being no tardies and no absences, that is phenomenal. So, yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Need a motion and a second for approval of the board meeting minutes, October 10th, 2023.
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Carlson? Aye. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Just move.
All right.
Well, good evening, everyone. I might have to drag her out of the seat.
I'll bring her forward if you want me to.
What?
I
She's
bring
already
her
upset with me, so. Well, it's my pleasure this evening to recognize one of our staff members who received a distinguished award not too long ago from RAMP. And so it is my pleasure to introduce Stacy Shahabit, one of our special education teachers at Harlem High School. I've had the pleasure, as well as Dr. Yarbrough, of working with Stacy since 2009, I think it was, right? 2010, yeah, 2010 at McChesney Elementary, and so this is a really exciting opportunity for me to be able to recognize her, because I know that she's an outstanding teacher, but also advocate for our students. And so with her, we have Jana from the RAMP organization, and she's going to talk a little bit about why Stacy was selected as the RAMP's Educator of the Year.
Thank you for having me. So Stacy was nominated because, our Fast Track program is a pre-employment program for students with disabilities in high school, and we connect with case managers in the districts to kind of connect with the students, because we can't work with the students if we don't know who they are. So our case managers invite us to IEP meetings, and we get to talk about our program, and then they set us up weekly with the students to meet and work on their goals for transitioning out of high school. And we haven't really had much of a presence in Harlem before, but was it last year we started working together? Stacy just has taken the program and run with it. She tells everyone about the program, she connects case managers and students, and we have had the biggest boom of Harlem students that we've ever had in our program. And really, Harlem is the biggest school that we work with for Fast Track. So we would not have met RAMP's goals without Stacy, and all these students wouldn't have had the opportunity to, reach their own goals without her. So she's pretty awesome.
Before Stacy says a few things, because I know she's really excited to talk this evening, I did want to share with you all a little bit about RAMP as an organization, and then the Fast Track program itself. And so this is actually from their website, but RAMP's mission is to build an inclusive community that encourages individuals with disabilities to reach their full potential. RAMP takes a creative approach to find resources and opportunities available to team up with individuals with disabilities to access the community where we live, work, and play. And so the Fast Track Transition Services Program lay a foundation for high school students with disabilities to reach their full potential by encouraging enrollment in college, preparing for employment or career opportunities, and preparing for independent living. And so they have a whole host of services that they provide, everything from career exploration, job shadow, volunteer opportunities, resume development, peer support, all sorts of things for our students. And so obviously it's a great honor to have the Educator of the Year at Harlem, and we know that just based on what you've shared, her work's been instrumental in supporting this program. But Stacey, you want to say a few things?
Sure.
Please.
Honestly, I don't know why I got it. They do all the work. She just happened to meet the person with the loudest mouth in the special ed department, not in situations like this. I actually, when I took this job a couple of years ago with the transition program at the high school, I always ask myself every year, what can I do to do better? And I noticed that our families are a little bit behind in transition services and getting their kids ready for once they leave, whether it's 18 or 22. So my amazing coworkers and I decided, let's start doing family info nights. So Dr. Boyce kindly let us stay after school and invite services in, whether it's RAMP or ARC or whoever in our community that the parents might need services after. And I called and I said, hey, can you guys come one night and talk to some families? What services do you offer? And she goes, hi, I'm at Harlem every Tuesday. I'm like, what? So I got to hear about her services, and then I just started sharing it out with my coworkers. And honestly, Jana and Ron do all the work. They're really amazing to work with. They're great with our students. And what student or staff member doesn't need help with all of those adult skills that are coming up? So honestly, I have a great principal who allows me to do all those things. My coworkers are always super supportive. Terrell's amazing. He's the best superintendent. So really, honestly, it's my coworkers and it's Jenna and Ron who do all of the work, so I'm just happy to help.
Well, you gotta hold that first, so they can all see it. So on behalf of, obviously, the Board of Education, Harlem School District, congratulations, we're proud of you, thank you for representing so well. But most importantly, thank you for serving our students.
That's my honor. Thank you.
Your photo, of course. So if I could have the board come around here.
Side is going to be the.
You may not post this picture anymore. I'm done with this. Done with posting.
I was just going to go on the side.
Somebody needs to probably stand as good as
I think we're
Yeah, we're good there. All right, 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Hey, congratulations.
Always.
You spoke to 250 people.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I do have one other quick, just kind of verbal recognition. I want to give a shout out. They're not here this evening, but just want to give a big thanks publicly to North River Library District for their support. As you are probably aware, they're a great partner of the district. They do offer a lot of services to our community. But one of the things that they've been working on over the past handful of years is investing in digitization of materials. They have a local history room. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, it's pretty impressive. I had the opportunity for a handful of years to serve on that local history committee that supported that room. But most recently, back in like 2018, they did a project with myself and Leah on the digitization of our yearbooks. And so we have electronic copies of our yearbooks from 1932 all the way up through 2018. But most recently, and I haven't even opened the box yet, they actually digitized the Pepper, which was the Harlem High School newspaper, from 1932 to 1997. And so these items now are available at the North River Library District. You can go in, you can search that thing, like you can just type in keywords and find information. It's just a great resource, and so I want to give them a shout out because they've consumed the cost of that. You know, it was about $3,000 for them to do this. It was a lot of hours of time to digitize the Pepper, and so I look forward to seeing maybe how our current high school students can use that, and obviously our community and being able to access the history of Harlem. And so just a big shout out to North River Library District for their commitment to that and supporting the district. So that's all I've got.
So we can find Mr. Smith's yearbook, right?
We may be able to do that.
All right.
We have one comments from the community. Whenever you're ready, Mr.
All right.
Hamilton.
Good evening. You heard from my wife last meeting. She'll sound a lot different than me. So, but recent world events have really caused me to want to say thank you to graduates from Harlem School District and staff members who have been involved in military service. Just watching what's going on in Israel, the recent massacre, our armed forces being called into service, having a son there, it's very real. It's far away, but I just wanted to take an opportunity to say thank you to Harlem students who have entered the military, parents here who have someone in service, and staff members. It's pretty much what I just want to say. It's just been it's a difficult time for our country right now. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh?
All right, thank you. The payables this period were $1,611,163.97. I don't have any payrolls to report right now. So that's it. Again, total expenditures of $1,611,163.97. Split out by fund, the education fund paid $418,150.61. The operations and maintenance fund paid $146,972.89. The transportation fund paid $45,318.84. The capital projects fund paid $995,671.63. And the life safety fund paid $5,050. Again, for total expenditures of $1,611,163.97. Are there any unanswered bill questions? Good for the bills.
Motion and a second to accept the bills.
Motion.
Second. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
All right, as communications and committee reports, as Evelyn's not here, I'll turn it over to Mr. Aaron McKnight.
Wow, I'm not used to going first. By this time, I've already said like echo, echo, echo. No, but first of all, I want to thank our Maple students for coming in, and I made a comment to Kurt, like they were loud. Usually it's like mice, you know, it's very quiet. They were loud and very proud, and I really appreciated that. And then what they said afterwards was, I wish I could get it on paper because I would really like to hear that more often about self-validation. I really don't have a whole lot. Stacy's work, thank you for taking care of our students, and sometimes just the biggest megaphone is the best tool that we have. So thank you for your work with that. Her words, not mine. So other than that, I mean, we've got, so far I think the school year is going well, and I'm going to turn it over to the next one. I know.
Ms. Carlson.
Echo. I appreciate Maple. I just love these kids, especially these two little boys on the end who kept high-fiving everybody. They just, I can't imagine what they're going to be going through tomorrow, excited, running around school, going, I did it. So that's just so cool that they come in here. That's fantastic. I also think we need to think about our nation and how we stand behind Israel and how we have to look at how we are, as a school district, as a nation, as the goals of our country. I think that is just extremely important, especially right now that we are backing our allies and we are standing with people and we are helping them out. I appreciate Stacy as well, keeping things running over there. I personally don't know much about RAMP, but it's nice to know that there are others who are working with the disabled as well as other groups, and that's pretty fantastic. I know last week we talked about the education committee because Larry wasn't here, and everybody's got to still have their mismatched socks tomorrow night, so we're excited to have that going on, so that's it for me.
Is that serious?
It's
Is
not
that
that I'm gonna
serious?
throw you out.
Oh, okay.
Until you came up with that
Clear my
night,
track.
We're checking them at the door.
All right. Mr. Smith.
Yes, thank you to the Maple students for the Pledge of Allegiance. That was wonderful. And thank you, Stacy, and thank you, RAMP. RAMP has done a great job for this area for so many years. Thank you very much for working with those people, and thank you, Stacy, for taking on them in that partnership. That's terrific. It just pays off so much for those students that we do that. And yes, I think that it just amplifies how important that it is that we are nice to other people. That, what is it, today's October 23rd, 2023. You would think by now we would have figured out how to get along with others without having to hurt somebody. You'd think that by now we would have been able to figure out that when we hurt other people, it doesn't stop. It creates a cycle where we just continue and normalize the hurting of other people. And that's just not okay. And I just encourage everyone to be a voice out there saying, no, it's not okay to hurt others. But what is helpful is the education committee, which will be tomorrow right here at 4:30. You may dress up if you want.
Just come dressed.
I can't wait to see what you wear.
I will surprise you.
Yes, you will.
Oh, so I was gone last week, so buckle up. Finally feeling better. Apologies to the community and my fellow board members for my absence. Something nasty going around. Stacy, I think you undersold yourself. I think that you found an opportunity for our students, and sometimes the biggest part in a puzzle can be the connecting piece. You were that connecting piece, and whether or not RAMP has taken that, and I'm sure they did, it's a fantastic organization, and run with it, you made that connection. So thank you for our students with disabilities. I greatly appreciate your work over at the high school. I attended SIP Day on 10/6. A huge thank you to everybody that made that possible. It was incredible to see the resources we provide firsthand, and to see the buildings come together and collaborate. I found so much value in the day, and I'm not even a teacher, so I can only imagine if you're in the buildings daily how much value that day can have. That being said, to the teachers present, I appreciate your kindness. I'm sure seeing a board member walk through the door was a little bit jarring. Believe me, returning to the halls of a high school for a day was equally as traumatic. I want to reassure everyone my goal is to educate myself, and from what I saw, the resources and the connections possible because of the SIP days, absolutely necessary. So, last thing I thought I was going to see at Art Scene when I drove down to Rockford for Art Scene was one of our amazing teachers, but Miss Watson from the Culinary Arts program in the high school was slinging probably the best Rice Krispie treats I've ever eaten in my life. If you don't know, she is Streusel and Sage. You should follow her on Instagram, or not, because it always makes me hungry. But it was awesome to connect to a teacher outside of school and see that she was literally practicing what she preaches every day. So I took a break from Battle of the Books to read I Wish My Teacher Knew. This is the book that our Intro to Education class is reading, and it was a seriously important reminder of what our teachers carry from day to day. So I'm excited to talk to the Intro to Education class tomorrow. Girls flag. I lit a fire. I watched you guys on the stream. Everybody was talking about girls flag football. So I'm glad everybody got to catch a game for the most part. They had an amazing season, an amazing coaching staff. And fingers crossed we get to see more of that. Lastly, shout out to Shay. Shay is a alumni from 2023. I see her in the community often, and she just got a real estate license and rented out her first investment property. So I'm super proud of Shay. So way to go.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's great to follow. Thank you. All right, turning it over to myself. I'm just going to jump back to Ms. Evelyn Meek's portion. We will have our next Equity and Social Justice meeting will be November 2nd at 2023 at 4:30 p.m. at West 145 at Harlem High School. All right, going on to today. Ms. Poole, thank you for bringing your students in. They are amazing. Just to even say from October to October to have that streak. I thank you for including the families that were there, because it does take an effort to not miss a day. And I mean, it's very commendable from the little ones all the way up to where they're at. It takes that whole team effort. So thank you. I would like to thank Stacy for what you do, and it doesn't. See, you said you didn't really do anything. No, you did. You do more than you do. And if you're looking right next to you, so Mr. Boyce is shaking his head.
It's because I'm hurting them.
Yeah, I know. We're recording that. But it's good, because that shows you that these people see it in you, and we thank you for what you do and for our families. And you go above and beyond, and it's amazing to see. I mean, you're asking your fellow staff to stay after it so you can bring in families to give them extra stuff. That's greatly appreciated, but that's going above and beyond, and we thank you for it. Just want you to know that. Also want to thank North Suburban Library for giving us these new tools. That's going to be used by our students and our staff and actually our community to be able to see history and also learn from it. I also want to thank our comments from the community. As a fellow veteran who served overseas, I understand that these times it's hard for so many families on so many different levels across this world, so thank you. After that, I'm just going to say I'm going to do what? We're going to do some meetings. Next regular board meeting will be November 13th, 2023, 6 p.m. It'll be here. Our next policy committee meeting will be November 15th, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. also here. And with that, I will turn it over to Kurt Thompson.
Hey, going last year is
weird for you.
Yeah, I get to echo all the fine comments that everyone on this board has made, and it's great to hear everyone for the Pledge of Allegiance. I loved how loud and active they are, and hopefully it sets the bar for all the future students that directly come in. Anything that may not have been mentioned, Megan, thank you for always the new Instagram feed that I have to follow.
Yeah.
First Jeremy Boys, which if you have not followed,
Oh my God.
The sheer amount of work that comes to put these in, and the students that participate, probably with the rolling of the eyes first and then participating, is absolutely amazing. The culinary food, if you're not watching that one, you will be hungry. It's amazing to see the work they're doing and to follow those. And as I look over to Megan, I can't help but look over your shoulder, finally to see something on our barren walls and to see our students and hopefully more and more onto that as well. And what do they say, if you're at last, you're more likely to remember it. So hopefully everyone will remember to come and join us for the next business services meeting with Josh here. That will be November 8th, 5:30, right back here.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you, because I was waiting, and I was going to say, if neither one of you two mentioned it, I was going to interject, but I waited, so thank you. With that, I turn it over to Dr. Michelle Irvin.
All right, thank you. actually only have one item this evening. I thought I might get another travel request in before this meeting, but did not. So I have a few people who are going to be joining me. So as I've shared with the board previously, I am trying to showcase different things that take place within our district tied to the Instructional Services Department. And tonight is going to be on our counseling for the district. Noel helped me expand my horizons by using a different format than what I've used before, which is I can pull it up. If you can switch it into the right format, it's right here. So it's always good to do something new for the first time because that's how we all grow. And so she helped put me in a growing experience. So we're going to talk about what counseling looks like and starting out with what is the objective of our SEL type of department. And when I say that, I'm referring to our social workers and counselors as a whole. They fall under our Student Support Services Department, and they really want to make sure that we provide comprehensive supports and resources to our students and their families within our district. Want to make sure that we're hitting their social, their emotional needs, as well as behavioral, and promoting positive mental health and creating a nurturing environment. Now, we as a district are very fortunate because we have social workers that help support our students and families from EC all the way through 12. And they take on various types of roles, everything from individual counseling and small group counseling. They also go into classrooms and provide lessons, typically tied to our second step curriculum and being kind to others and how to handle when things aren't always going our way and coping skills. They also help with crisis interventions. Sometimes our kids really need an extra layer of support or two, and they help with those, some peer mediations. They also are kind of one of our two go-tos, our counselors being the other, as far as when we need to find wraparound services for our families. So they work with outside local agencies. They are part of IEP meetings and 504 meetings. And they consult with our parents, our teachers, and administrators. They can provide all sorts of tiered supports through MTSS, often with check-in and check-out. They also will work with diagnosis referrals and evaluations. FBA, I know we put another acronym, Functional Behavior Assessment. I'm sorry, it's not on your sheet. And BIP being Behavior Intervention Plan. But those are both tied to putting structures in place when the typical setting isn't necessarily working for students. How can we add extra layers? And then Medicare billing. And then now we're going to kind of go into specifically counseling at the middle school, and then Dr. Boyce is going to talk about it at the high school.
Hi. So I'm Noelle Rizzio, and this is super intimidating, so bear with me. I was asked to throw this presentation together and just kind of talk to you guys about what we do at the middle school and the counseling department. I have been working in the counseling department at the middle school for 15 years, and I've been the department chair for, I don't know, a few years. We have myself, Amy Novak is one of our counselors, Andrea Coots, and Mike Kravitz, who's here tonight also to support us. They asked me to fit all of the things that we do in the counseling department in a 5-minute presentation, so I'm not sure I got everything, but a lot of the things that Dr. Erb said that the social workers do, we also do at the middle school level. We do individual counseling, group counseling. We do classroom lessons where we go into our team classrooms and work with the entire teams to work on things that maybe the teachers are having issues with the students. We do career development, academic advisement, that wraparound service that she talked about, where we're liaisons between the students, the teachers, the parents, the admin. We kind of call ourselves the go-to people. Like, if you don't know who to call at the middle school, you call the counselor and we'll get you where you need to be and get you what you need. We also do some student planning and case management with 504s, gender support plans. We all have Google Classrooms that we share with all of our students so that they have resources that they can just grab right there on their Chromebooks. We are really trying to focus a lot on the transitions because middle school is a huge transition time. So when they come up to us, we are in all of the 6th grade classrooms doing presentations about what the middle school looks like. We're talking about all the classes at the middle school and what they have to choose from. We spend time answering their questions and trying to put them at ease because the transition from elementary to middle school can be very tumultuous. Especially the locker room and changing for gym and swimming and all of that. So we try and go in and really make them feel better about it. We also have them come in at the end of the year and do a tour of the middle school so they can kind of see what that's going to look like and hopefully make them feel even a little less anxious. We also have transition meetings with all of the elementary social workers, and they give us updates on all of the kind of at-risk students so that we know coming in, hey, we need to check in with this student right off the bat, and they give us what their needs are, and so we can meet those as soon as they walk in our doors in the fall. We do all the new student registrations, we do all the scheduling for all of our students. We provide MTSS interventions, we go to team meetings, we do diagnostic referrals where we refer students to our diagnostics team if they, to see if they might qualify for IEP services. This is the last one, I promise.
It's okay, you guys do a lot.
I didn't realize what you did.
We have ongoing communication with families. I talked to 6 families today alone, just kind of with whatever their need might be with their student at school, just to maintain that open line of communication with our families. Like I said, we schedule all of our students. We work with scheduling to make sure that our classes are in compliance with Illinois state law, with special education laws. We meet with truancy to make sure that we know what kids are on the truancy caseload and what kids we need to work with to make sure that they're getting to school. We work with our truancy officer for those students who aren't coming to school. We also developed a parent resource page, which is on the middle school website. That includes our bell schedule, any I don't know what else is on there. Lots of good information for parents. Check it out. Like I said, we're like a liaison between teachers and parents. Sometimes, this is the parents' first experience with having more than one teacher. So they can't just call up, there's 7 teachers that the student has. So they can call us and then we can disseminate that information between all of the students' teachers. We make SAS, CARES, DCFS referrals. If you don't know what SAS is, it's student or suicide assessment risk, something like that. I don't know, but it's, if a student is in danger of harming themselves or someone else, we call these people and they can do more of a deep dive into whether that student needs to be hospitalized or whether they need other services. We do refer students to outside agencies, so we have relationships with those. We also have other agencies that come into the middle school to do different groups with students. We analyze student data for MTSS and things like that, and we do all kinds of presentations. So, I think that was all. Oh, this is from our needs assessment that we did this year.
I'm trying to get that down, and I'm hoping that I don't lose this, but it's covering some of your.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. So we do a needs assessment every year where we send out a Google form to all of the students and we ask them, what are you having issues with? And then we follow that up with, what do you need to see a counselor about? And so not every student fills it out. We don't make it a mandatory thing that they fill it out, but most of them do. I think we had, of our 940 some students, I think we had like about 680 students fill it out. So you can just see on this graph here that stress and anxiety, that's the one over there. That's the 253. So in middle school, we have a lot of kids that are dealing with stress and anxiety, and that's one of the things that we work with them on a lot. Goal setting is another high one, improving school success, so we work with them on things like that too. But we also get information on like if you've ever had suicidal thoughts, or like are you depressed, are you being, do you feel like you're being abused or neglected at home, and these are not anonymous. So we can then reach out to those students and get them the help that they need right away. And then just a little visual for kind of what we do. We work with students about their thinking, and we try and change their thought perspectives so that then that can change their feelings about certain situations, which then changes their behaviors. Do you guys have any questions for me or anything?
I do have a question. It's not a hard one, I don't think.
Okay, good.
So there's 4 of you that do what you're doing.
Yes.
Honest opinion, do you feel that's enough for that school?
It depends on the day.
Okay.
I mean, we also have 3 social workers,
Okay.
or 2.5, maybe 2 3/4.
Yeah, that goes to the email that got sent.
We could always use more counselors. If you said, would you like a couple more counselors, I'm not gonna say no. I mean, the more support that we can give our students in this, aspect, it's never gonna be a bad idea.
One question,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. One question that I directly had, and kind of one of this kind of opening for this whole thing was just my blindness to how all the things that you're doing, more generically was just how do we get counselors in to make sure that our students are on the right path. And some students or their parents may reach out, others may not, and sometimes it's easier to kind of slip through the system. Myself, going through middle school and high school was one of those students. So it's my understanding, and please elaborate, to kind of identify some of those students. I think that survey is a great idea, right? So that puts more power into that student's hands going, oh, I need some help. What options are there? Are there other options to kind of reach out to make sure the students know how to reach out to you to get them on that right path?
Yes, we do several things to kind of address that. We meet with our team of teachers. I don't know if there was a slide where we each are assigned to different teams. We meet with our team teachers on a weekly basis. So they are in the classroom with the kids. So if they notice a student is off, or this student isn't acting the way that they normally do, or they mentioned something to me that something is going on at home, we get that information and we check in and follow up with them right away. We also go into all of our team classes and introduce ourselves so that the kids see us, they know us. We have in our Google Classrooms, we have a sign up link so that all they have to do is on their Chromebook, just fill out a quick form. That comes to us right away. They all know how to do that. We go into the classrooms and show them how to do that, and they can reach out to us at any time, and then we do that throughout the year as well.
And are we doing anything at an earlier age for like planting seeds of careers that they want to go to? Because again, a lot of it is just that not knowing or have interest and coming from that transition from the grade school to the middle school of, I want to be into some sort of engineering, or I want to go when I'm really into mechanical things. Is there ways to kind of start that, to kind of help build towards their right courses and to kind of prepare them?
We do have career awareness classes at the middle school. And so we've been working with the high school counselors and Jake to kind of figure out a way where we can get more of that information to the middle schoolers. I would love to get it like all the way down into the elementary schools and some career education. But yeah, I think it's really important that they have at least exposure to that. We keep all of the high school pathways books, we keep all of those in our offices and are talking to kids about that all the time.
Excellent. I know we've approved some different tests and kind of surveys to kind of help with that, and I'd love to see if we can utilize those or get those tools to you. Not that you don't have enough to work through, but maybe it might make it easier and help some of our students to use those.
Do you still do a career inventory? Like, the strategic curriculum?
We did do Zello, and we utilize that a lot in our career awareness classes, and then the counselors would also go into some of the classrooms and work with students on that. But they
Just
it
switched
just
to youth
switched
science.
to youth science, and we don't have a lot of the capabilities that the high school currently has yet.
Is that
Got-
not a yet, so we need to make sure we've got those
Yes.
things identified.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we do yearly, I think they just switched it, so it's not yearly anymore, it's every other year, but we do a field trip where we take all of one grade level, so I think last year it was 7th grade. And we took all of them out to the sports core, and there's like a career fair, and they get to walk around and experience different vendors, like different businesses in the community set up, and so we try to expose them to that every year.
Awesome.
That's through CNC.
Yeah.
So I have a 5th grader, so I know a lot of the middle school conversations are already starting to happen. Resource officers are coming in, stuff like that. So I'm assuming the counselors are going to hit the 5th and the 6th graders at the
Correct.
elementary school this year? Okay,
That's our plan.
awesome.
She stole my thunder. So
Yeah, so we're gonna be very busy.
We're just starting to get into the minds of each other.
Yeah.
When
We also do, for the 8th graders going to the high school, we try and coordinate that so that they get to have a tour there. We have the high school counselors come down to the middle school and talk about GPAs and credits and all the classes up there. We go into the classrooms and talk to the 8th graders about all of that as well.
when are the counselors starting to go to the elementary schools? Because you've had twice as many now.
Yes,
That's gonna be.
usually we start that in about February, so probably right after winter break, we're gonna start that right away. Maybe do it more in like a cafeteria type situation instead of the classrooms. We haven't figured out all the logistics, but yes, we'll be talking to everybody.
I've got one last one for you. I promise to be pretty easy. So kind of identifying with the students, is there anything we're currently doing for the parents? The same way, if they're trying to make sure their students are on the right track, exploring the possibilities, making sure is it too early, is there anything we're doing to reach out to them to make sure they're aware of these programs? Because as a board member,
Right.
again,
Yeah.
this is excellent,
Yeah.
but I was unaware. Certainly parents are also
Yes,
unaware.
I would agree with that as well, and I think that that needs to be something that we do more of, as well as getting that information out to the parents. I'm not sure how much goes home with like our career awareness classes and how much parents are aware, because they do a lot of work with like the career pathways and things like that. We, at our back to school night, love to have a little bit more of that. I try and stop into my teams and talk to the parents about, you know, the services that I offer. But yeah, I think more out to parents is definitely
Sure,
something
yeah,
that's
try and
on
find out, see what we can do.
Absolutely.
Are we good transitioning to the?
Yes, yes,
middle
thank you.
school?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job.
All right, I got some handouts here.
Oh,
I know.
I think I like the PowerPoint.
I'm gonna go over this page by page.
Yes, I'm gonna follow up with an assessment. This was put together by our counseling department, so I'm not gonna take credit.
Unless they love it.
Unless I have one to reference from.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith, how are you? Jason, I can share one.
Oh. Okay, so just because of age and where the students are career-wise and academic career-wise, we do all of the things that Noelle mentioned that the middle school counseling staff does. Now we do a few things in addition to that, just because we're transitioning not to the high school, but to adulthood, citizenship, and life. So I didn't want to just completely reiterate everything that she said. You know, did a great job, said it very well. But we do all those things at the high school. I think the kind of being the go-to person, like the analogy I kind of used is our counselors are similar to like a general practitioner in the medical field. Like you go to your doctor, then they can solve pretty much anything, about 90% of the problems, and every now and then they refer you to a specialist. So our counselors handle a myriad of concerns that students have that's just so wide. Every now and then they'll refer a student to social worker, psychologist, administrator, school resource officer, you know, it could be any number of things, athletic trainer even, you know, if it's really specialized, but for the most part, they're handling student concerns at a very, very wide range. And one thing to also keep in mind, that in addition to all the responsibilities and job tasks and things that they do for students that I'm gonna talk about, this is in addition to students coming to them all day long with very, very pressing issues. And I'm not making a joke, I'm not saying this to be funny, but like, in the teenager's mind, everything is of immediate need and is a huge deal. So if a student is experiencing some real tough stuff that weighs on us very heavily as educators, or if a student's having like a relationship problem, or in their mind, sometimes that's all the big deal, right? And it's all really, really tough. So they're, you know, our counseling staff is working through these major career decisions with students and helping them make some really big decisions while also handling a pretty steady flow of students who are just going through any number of issues. And they handle everything. I mean, they could be working with a student doing a scholarship application for a full ride to an Ivy League school, and then, you know, we sometimes have referred students to them to have like a little mini lesson on hygiene, just because they're not taking care of their basic needs. Like it's a very, very wide range that they work with, and they're awesome too. I should probably start with that. Our counseling department is absolutely amazing. They're just really, really great. Great educators, great people, great team to work with, for sure. Down, over, enter. Okay, these are them. These are their names. So we have Ginger Thompson, who is the chair of our department. We break ours down by alphabet. Sandy Thies, Lisa M. Clark, Lisa Clark. There's 2 Lisa Clarks in the district. This is the guidance counselor. Tree Sullivan, Janine Ferger, Tasha Petrie, who's new to us this year but not new to the profession, and then Sarah Anderson and Emily Shabanic are our counseling team, so we have 8. Along with, and then of course they have, you know, we have a secretary who works out of that office, and then there's some more student support service folks in there as well. So in addition to the things that Noel talked about, our counseling department deals with scholarships. They do a lot of collaboration with employers, which includes trade representatives, or representatives from the trades, service branch recruiters. They work quite a lot with all of our military service branches. They deal with Rock Valley College for dual credit, Running Start, and articulated credit, along with other schools, but that's the main one for those 3 areas. They work with the ROE, with truancy and truancy referrals to try to keep, we're gonna be fine with the Maple kids, we know that when they come up, when they go to school, we're gonna be good. But we do have some students who we do have to refer to truancy. Transcripts, that's a big deal, because those have to be accurate and correct. And that is kind of the labor-intensive, behind-the-scenes type stuff that they are in charge of. 504 case management, gender support plans. They do help us quite a lot with our standardized testing, SAT, PSAT, and AP. Their annual career conferences, which is what a lot of this stuff is, I'm going to go through. And then they have to do a lot with our students who want to participate in college athletics, because they have to, their requirements are a little bit different sometimes than just, you know, students who may just be attending college. So I do want to go through the materials that I can prepare, that I brought to you, prepared by our counselors. The first sheet is a breakdown of all of the kind of unique job responsibilities and who's in charge of what, so you can see how that's all broken down by counselor. And if you want to kind of, and then the career conference goes over graduation requirements. So we are very thankful to the middle school, because they start the conversation very early. What's a credit? What's a GPA? You know, those kinds of things. That's hugely helpful, so they come in with some sort of working knowledge of those vocabulary terms and what that means. So we go through all of those credits, everything, all 4 years. As far as like reaching every student, Mr. Thompson, I know you kind of asked about how we reach every student. They can't avoid it. Believe it or not, once or twice we've had a student who tried to not go to their career conference, and they don't. They have to. They don't get to make that choice, like whether they want to, or I shouldn't say that, whether they realize they want to, or that they have not yet realized that they want to. We track them down, we get them to that career conference, and they have a great relationship with our counselor. I went to high school a long time ago. I know that the school counseling, the guidance counselor term is dated and old. School counseling now is so much different than what it was, not even that long ago. Certainly when I was in high school, 25 years ago. So, so each you have 3 packets here: freshman reminders, junior reminders, sophomore reminders. I won't take too much time going through all of these, but this is the career conference material that they go through every single year with their counselor. So every single student meets with their counselor to go through this every single year, so they know exactly where they're at, if they're doing well, what their career goals are, how their schedule's going to be built toward those career goals. Very, very thorough, and you can see that it's also works for every student, whether you're going on to a 4-year school, whether you're going into a trade, or you're going into the service. When you don't know, this is built for any student, any situation. So these 3 packets are for each of those 3 years. They get more and more focused as they go on, and then you can definitely go through those. There's quite a lot of good stuff there, but the last one, the folder, that's the senior year one. That's when we're really getting, stuff's really getting serious. So you can see there's trade union representatives in there, there's military recruiters in there, there's all of the most commonly applied to colleges are in there, there's a list of every single scholarship that we offer, there's all the scholarships that are Harlem specific, made specifically for Harlem students, so there's quite a lot of stuff in there. So it's a pretty comprehensive program, it's a very, very hard-working team, and they do have to wear dozens of hats. So I just can't say enough how many times they've bailed me out, and just kind of making sure, like, if I sometimes feel, and I think there's always that nagging feeling that we all have as educators, like, oh, did I do this for this kid, or have I been there for this kid? Like, they're always there. So if I sometimes maybe I forgot to reach out to the student, I know the counselor has. They have that relationship. And not only are they taking the students that come to them, they're checking in on kids as well. If they're reaching out, sometimes silence can be deafening. If they haven't heard from a student for a while, they know it's time to check in. So, like everybody at Harlem, they're coming with the kids first and the kids' well-being first, but also the job that we have to do, which is to produce a workforce, to produce responsible individuals, and getting that job done too. So I'm really proud of that group of professionals, and I'm happy to work with them, and I was really happy that you gave me time to talk about it, so thank you. I'm happy to answer questions also.
If a student gets to senior year and they do not have what is required to graduate, how quickly do they get notified?
They know it every single step.
They should know.
So, like,
Okay,
the
so you get
whole
to
time.
senior year and you're missing something,
Yes.
you should know.
I don't think it's a surprise.
No, it's definitely not for the student or the parent. Sometimes the student isn't as receptive, like, so like every single parent, if a student does not earn the 6 credits that they need to become a sophomore, parent gets a letter, parent gets a phone call, student is told about it, we offer them opportunities to get them on track.
So there's no surprises when they get to their senior year?
Right.
Okay.
And not even then, like, all week, maybe 2 weeks ago, freshmen who were failing 2 or more classes, we're on the phone, because they're just at the first midterm, just 3.5, 4.5 weeks in, we're noticing, like, hey, if you're starting to slip just a little bit, getting phone calls, parents are getting phone calls, kids are getting called down, what's going on, you're passing this class, what's working there, what's not working here, so yes, we're many times in that senior year, we give them a letter with a plan, like, 90% or more, like, all good, just pass your classes and you're good.
Awesome.
And then the students who are not in that situation is like, here's exactly what you need to do.
Okay, great.
Does it seem that the truancy rate is going down at all, or is it?
I just had a conversation, thank you for asking that, I just had a conversation today that our truancy rate is actually getting better, especially for freshmen. This year's freshmen right now, we're at like 92, 93%, which is pretty good for us. Truancy is much better if we're looking at data from 2020 to 2023. If we're looking at data before 2020, we're not quite where we once were, but we're making progress. And we're getting there, and I think it'll happen. And I don't mean to joke about it, because they're the most adorable humans ever, but like the fact that we're seeing that emphasized at the early grade levels is really encouraging, so thank you. That works on that.
Does it the credits for graduation seem to fluctuate much, or do they just keep getting more and more and more? I know when I was in high school, it was only 16 credits to graduate, and so
They're actually got a little bit less
We went from
with an
27 to
asterisk.
24.
So they went from 26 to 24.
Yeah.
And that's probably, that's another conversation, but basically the reason to do that was because we wanted to afford students opportunities to do internships. So they weren't bogged down in like checking off boxes, so like we wanted to make sure that the base requirements were a base to build upon, as opposed to like, we want to make this well-rounded, perfect education that doesn't really exist in practice. So we went with the state plus what we felt was responsible. That was Ed committee work largely a few years ago. So we're probably what, high average maybe for the state. And we say 24. If you ever see a school that has 48, that's the same thing. They count as semesters as one. It's the same, but we do 24. So we're a little higher than some neighboring districts, a little lower than other neighboring districts. So.
Do you think they'll ever go back to the split semester courses that they had about 15 years ago, where they offered, math this and math that in the same year? You had calculus and trig, and then you had, some of your science, or they're always gonna stick with your yearly courses?
I would say that's a committee decision within the committee.
That was the one we were on the 4 block.
There's very good reasons to do that and to not do that.
Right.
But, paying attention to what other districts are doing and how trends are, but.
Yeah, just small one comment to see how far since I was in high school, this is amazing. I love all the opportunities and kind of plugging the holes to kind of make sure that no one really, I don't want to say get left behind, it's a terrible term, but to really make sure that it's there. And the other simple one would be is this great information that we get to look at, is this available for the public to see as well?
Yeah, so, well, I don't know if it's available publicly. It's certainly available for the parents of all of the students at the high school.
Something that's on the website or can be made available on the website?
Yeah, we can certainly make it available. It may be available, I don't want it, if you
Sure.
go to Counselor's Corner, it's called Counselor's Corner on the website, they have probably the most thorough.
Perfect, there's a good plug for everyone that's online there, Counselor's
it's-
Corner.
The Counselor's Corner on the website is very thorough, so I'm not sure if this is on there exactly, we can put it on there for sure. Parents will get all of this.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I for one, would like to thank both the middle school and the high school for putting together such a thorough presentation. I know I asked you both to do this, and you did a really good job of highlighting exactly what our counselors go through each and every day. So thank you all. So appreciate that.
Incredibly enlightening, thank you.
Can we?
Yeah.
I didn't realize the scope of work.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And with that, we turn it over to the most riveting, Josh Rand.
Not tonight. Thank you. I have 2 items tonight. The first is a recommendation to approve a resolution declaring surplus property. I know that I think Aaron had mentioned there's some vehicles on here, so there are 3 old Ford vans that we don't use anymore. They're 12 years old, and then there are 4 Ford 9-passenger vans that we're not using. That the market is pretty high on those, so we thought, well, those were going for as much as the big yellow buses were used. So, yep. So, it said if there's a market for them and we're not using them, let's send it. So that is the surplus. Are there any questions on that? Okay. My last time
Real
was
quick, sorry, John.
Sure.
Where do we sell those on an Illinois site, or do we sell them on our own? Like, are they on a bit auction site, or?
Sure. So we've done it a few different ways. We've done it on Gov Deals. We've done it on a custom site that we made to let people put in or blindly bid what they wanted. We've set amount and let people buy them. We had someone locally ask about them. That's what caused us to look a little bit more. So Don and I didn't talk about every single one of those vehicles, but we've done it a few different ways. We had really good luck with Gov Deals last year. That was the first time that we had sold some vehicles. We'd sold some old vans for pretty decent amounts on there. So
That's what I was thinking of, yeah. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. So then my next time is a recommendation to approve facility request. This is with Renegades Football Club. If you notice, there's only one date in the future. The board's already approved the previous dates. This is just a 1-date extension for an upcoming Sunday. If there are no questions, that is my report.
Shortest report ever, Josh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sure next month I'll have
You
lots.
saved all that time that they can just really go, they absolutely have to come to the next business services meeting. So
There you
I
go.
saved them. Next, we'll do administrative reports.
Shameless.
Shelley Wagner with the Mitchell Press. Hello, sorry, I'm filling his mic had to step out.
It's always difficult to follow Mr. Arand, but I will try. Tonight, I have the recommendation to approve the personnel agenda. There is no addendum. So we have 4 employments tonight, 3 transfers, 1 leave of absence, 2 resignations, 1 Federation Bank request, and 2 additional paraeducation positions. We need 2 new paraeducators as a result of students moving into the district in order to meet those IEP minutes. That's it for me tonight.
I had a question in regards to the, I believe the name was Gage at the high school. Should that be marked as a terminal position?
Student mentors are, yes.
I didn't notice it saying that on the,
Yes, it is.
it is a terminal
It
position.
is, that's his understanding, yeah. So Chris, if you could reflect that in the record. That'd be
Student
great.
mentors terminal?
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
horrible.
Yeah, that's a title position, and I think this is the last year in that. ESER 3. Yeah, or ESER 3.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Yarborough?
All right, thank you very much. I have the distinct pleasure, first item up before I get to the lovely FOIA request that you like to hear me read. As you know, we've been doing some extensive work throughout the district, obviously starting with our kids enjoying the playgrounds there. Thank you, Mr. Bloom, for putting that up there. That's awesome. But in addition to that, though, we have some pretty big projects going on at Brock Cut, getting a new gymnasium, and also at our high school with a new CTE addition. It's just phenomenal work that our groups from DLA and Ringling Johnson are doing. So I will not introduce you individually, I will let you do that. But I'm just extremely proud of the work that you all are doing, keeping us on schedule, and now providing an update to our board and our community. So whoever wants to start, thank you.
Thank you. I'll start off with Randy Hossman with Ringling Johnson, and President of Ringling Johnson. We've got Chris Glaster here with us.
Chris Glaster, good evening, everyone.
So Chris was gonna walk us through something in a minute. He's the project manager on the project. Then
I'm Steve Wright with DLA Architects.
Okay, so
Good evening, everyone. I apologize for the working boots message here. I've been on site all day and wearing a hard hat, so.
If you were coming clean, I would wonder what you were doing.
What are we doing for it?
Thanks.
Yeah. I can always.
Oh, God.
Okay, so first up is just a little time-lapse video. I can't take full credit for this. Josh Rand graciously provided it to us. So this spans from April, when we first broke ground, up until December 20th. So what you're going to see is a lot of our preliminary works, foundations, underground electrical, plumbing, and near the end of the building is, or near the end of the video, is when we actually start to go vertical with our CMU block. And right now, kind of big picture, we're gearing up for precast and then structural steel, getting the roof on by the time winter comes, and then we can start with all of our interior finishes. So get to see the lovely weeds grow, and that.
They're coming.
Don't mind those. So the underground work is pretty extensive. The footings and the foundations took a lot of effort to get in, but luckily we have a very good group of subcontractors that are helping us out. Extremely dedicated and a great set of drawings from DLA to work off of. And typically, don't always get those if you know construction. Sometimes drawings can be more, but these are great, so I can't really ask for too much more as a project manager. So right about 7/8 through is when you'll see all the walls starting to go up. So these are all the CMU walls right now that will be covered with the colored face brick, and then starting this Friday, October 27th, is when we get our precast panels coming in from Mid-States Concrete. And that's when you'll really see things start to fly and take shape, and it'll look like a lot of activity. So that's a little video. Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
And
He stares at them all day, every day. They're very easy to make. The camera's awesome.
after that, I just have kind of our project schedule that I put together. Microsoft project. So right now we are at, if you can't see it, I apologize. We're at the precast concrete phase, so that's starting October 27th and going through November 21st. So that's erecting all the precast panels, it's caulking them, sealing them in, finishing all of our structural steel welds. So it's going to go precast concrete. We set in all of our structural steel, then we can pour our concrete slabs, and then continue on with building envelope, all of our masonry, again, roofing, metal panels. The big thing for us is the rooftop units, which we do have the curbs arrive this week, and we have all of our units coming in mid-summer, and right now our projected finish date is going to be well before the start of the new school year. So just want everyone to rest easy about that. That is my projection right now.
Got some buffer.
Yes. But you didn't hear that. So
I got
down
the
here-
word well before.
Down here, we're tracking all the long lead time items. So for us and for kind of industry-wide right now is the RTUs and then any electrical panels and components. So that's kind of big picture what I have. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes, sir.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Cary Grove High School many moons ago.
Okay. And are you having are the subcontractors, are they pretty well manned? Are they having any problems finding the people to do the jobs?
We are not having any problem with skilled labor right now, which is very nice.
Excellent.
Yes.
What about as far as the materials? Are there any that you're finding are hard to get, or that you're concerned about the materials will not be available?
Basically on any construction project nowadays, your long lead time items would be the rooftop units for air conditioning and heat, and then any associated electrical panels, circuit breakers, and boxes. All those were ordered with enough time to get them in. Right now, the longest rooftop unit is about 35 weeks. That could improve. It's not going to get worse than that. 35 weeks puts us into middle of June. And then our final completion date is August 15th, which is the start of school next year.
Good.
And 4 years ago, 5 years ago, those girls would have taken 16 weeks to get.
Right, yeah.
Good for some context.
I guess, what's your favorite power tool?
I love a good nail gun and table saw. So I started off as a residential carpenter when I was 9, and then progressed my way through the trades and the career, and eventually came into commercial construction, and now I'm working with Ringland.
Good for you. Thank you.
We can always count on Mr. Smith to make it less stressful.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, that's okay.
You're doing really great.
Thank you.
Can you give a quick, or is there any more questions about the high school piece? Sorry about that.
It's, because it's a CTE project, do they have any courses or allotment for students to work with some of this, or do we?
You know,
do we
I have,
allow the students to mentor or to, shadow some of these workers? Sorry.
Yes, to answer your question, sorry to interrupt. Patty Lawrence. Yes, Patty Lawrence reached out to myself and our Director of Operations, Matt Linsky. So she's going to be coming in, I believe Thursday this week. She was out with a fever last week. We were going to meet with her, and she wanted to discuss with Ringland kind of how we could create a partnership and maybe mentor students. I don't know exactly what she has in mind. But.
Second question, I want one of those shirts, where do we get one?
I can, what size do you wear? Okay. I'll get that for you. Any color preference? Right now we have lovely purple, which is my favorite, and green.
And purple.
Okay.
That'd be wonderful.
You got it.
Are you running through each project kind of as an update, like separately?
Yeah, we could do CTE and then
Sure.
I can move on to.
I have one real quick
Yeah.
question for the high school, and this might not be for you, I'm sorry if I'm directing it in the wrong direction, but are there any plans or classroom environments or anything that we're not seeing kind of go on schedule? Or is everything pretty much, you know, like we're having a problem with the kitchen, or we're having a problem with, you know, the
So-
mechanic, or like,
Yeah.
is there anything?
We delayed the kitchen to next summer because of the lead times, so the labor is locked in and all that should be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the
There's-
kitchen will be
go ahead.
done next summer, but before next school year?
By the end of, yeah, so it's within the end of that project like he was
Okay.
talking about.
Is that the only thing that got delayed because of the lead times?
It's not necessarily a delay, it's just the scope of work that it entails. So
Yeah.
the whole culinary arts kitchen, we have to clear everything out. There's associated electrical, HVAC, flooring, demolition, new kitchen equipment, framing, ceiling grid, lighting. So it's pretty expansive
It's a lot,
when it comes
yeah.
to the scope. So it's a little more user-friendly if we don't have educators and students in the facility. So
Got
we
it.
can get in there and we don't have to worry about trying to work around them, setting up temporary barricades or anything like that.
That makes sense.
And the lead times on Captivare just as well.
Oh yeah, I source for a living, so I know lead times have doubled or tripled, so all good.
Are we still gonna have the drive-up window at the culinary?
Is that a new development? I don't think I've seen that.
No.
We're not adding
No.
to scope.
That's another $1 million.
No.
You can't talk to a project manager without some scope creep. That's just how it works.
Steve, on the architect side, do you have anything, you would talk a little bit about the furniture?
Yeah, just very quickly, related to being able to outfit all the classrooms that you were asking about. There's a lot of flexible furniture that we've had discussions with the administration about. We met probably 3 weeks ago about that. Our furniture specialist is putting together a package of recommended products so that we can review that again, probably coming up in the next 2-3 weeks. Last week, we met with specialty providers for some of the equipment that go into the autos lab and welding and so on. So we're pulling all that information together. Our intention is to have a furniture package ready to go prior to going out for winter break, to have all the decisions made by
Great.
the instructors, so that we can go out for bid by the beginning of next year, get orders placed, so that we have everything ordered and coming online as the building opens up.
Great.
So right now we're tracking right on schedule.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Dr. Boyce is not showing it, but he's beaming right now.
There's 15th grade.
All right, thank you. What about Rock Cut?
Rock Cut is moving along. So our precast is up, we're painting it right now. We have all of our interior slabs poured, all of our exterior concrete slabs are poured, and we will be done with that before the Christmas holiday.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, the principal
Done,
says
done?
you guys are doing a
Yes, 100%.
Where's our time-lapse video?
We didn't buy a camera on that one.
I'm just kidding, I drive by it every day.
It's okay.
I was gonna say, that's down Forest Hills. Go back and
Rock
go.
Cut's Facebook page has been doing a great job posting
They have.
pictures as well. So.
And I'm assuming, I don't know, this is probably lame, but the rock cut school on the side of it, is that done in precasting?
Yeah.
Where it has the,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really
I
cool.
love
got to go- we got
Sorry,
to go
I'm in
tour it.
manufacturing, so that's like really cool that they can put in the
We got to
school
go
and
tour the
everything like
place
that.
that did it, and,
Yeah.
and that was, yeah,
I love it.
it's
I love it.
awesome.
Yeah,
Mid-States
can do some awesome stuff.
It looks like it,
I didn't
yeah.
know we were getting
I was a
that.
little bummed I didn't get an invite, but that's okay.
Yeah, blink, blink.
On
We got you
Ringland's
next
behalf, we'd like to thank, and I know Dr. Yarbrough, Josh have been at almost every week out there at the meetings and making, decisions. If Mike Sterling got involved in an issue we had out there, I mean, it really has moved this project along. I can't tell you how many times we see delays because of owner decisions and things get dragged out, and, things back up on us, and that just hasn't happened here at all. These guys have been great, and out there every week, and part of it, literally in the middle of it, and helping us resolve issues, and like I said, even had Mike Sterling out there, a couple job meetings, I believe, that resolving things, so yeah, we appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate you all.
Thank you, guys.
So
Were you going to talk about the tuck pointing just for 1 second?
Oh, yes, so incorporated into the CT edition, right now we're working our way around the building doing preventative maintenance on all the tuck pointing and existing masonry. And that's in an effort to preserve the existing building facade so that in the future there won't be any issues coming back.
And that was the work you guys just approved a few months ago. And it's, as they dig in, it's really important that we're doing that to keep the brick in good shape. So that work, as they dig in, is much needed, so.
Quick question about that. Now that's, I know that much about tuck pointing and masonry work, but I know that it can hide a lot of stuff once you get into it. Like, how is everything, now that you're getting into it, is the scope looking the same as what you anticipated it to be?
It is. It's roughly the same. Building codes and practices aren't what they are today. When the building was built, I think maybe
74,
75.
Yep.
Okay, so
A long time ago.
a while ago. So it's nothing major. It's just mostly preventative maintenance.
Okay.
Where some of the existing grout lines have experienced some water seepage going in, so we're removing that, making a couple structural repairs to the steel, which is extending the lip of the steel I-beam to support the weight of the brick so that you don't get any sag on it at all.
Okay.
And other than that, it's just going around, grinding out the existing mortar, and then replacing the brick as is.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Any other questions?
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so I will, before we get to the other highlight of the evening, I will jump into the FOIA request here. The first FOIA request submitted on September 25th of 2023 from Illinois CPA Society, requesting the district's 2023 financial statements. We're still working on answering that one. The next one was submitted on September 26th of 2023 from Laura Quesada, on behalf of Reyes Coca-Cola Company, requesting the most recent beverage contract. We're working on that response as well. And then we have one submitted on October 12th, 2023 by Molly McCain, requesting bid information on school photography and yearbook data. So we should be having those answers pretty soon. And then the last one from Sherry Reed of Smart Procure, requesting purchasing records from 7/12 of 2023. They submitted this, I apologize, back on October 16th, 2023. To the current date, in addition to response documents, we sent those on 10/18/2023. All right, any questions on the FOIA request? Okay, and then the final thing under my report, we have individuals here from North Park Water Department. We had a conversation during our business service meeting about a piece of land that you all are looking to purchase. There were some questions that came out of that meeting, that we sent in response for some answers. And then we also looked at different appraisals. We had appraisal review on our end as a district, which came back in saying that the 2 appraisals that were done, the 3 comps that were done, totaled about $37,500, which our appraiser said that was appropriate. But in talking with North Park, when me and Kelly met, decided to up that amount to $50,000. So we can kind of work through that. But I'm going to turn it over to you and your representative, and you can take it from there. Okay.
I have handouts too. I didn't realize you had a TV, otherwise I would have gone digital. Smart board. Sorry. Most of you have seen this already, or the majority of this already. Yep. There we go. Okay.
Here it is.
Okay. So I think I see two people that weren't at the business services meeting, so I'll just kind of step back into how we got to where we're at, and then I'll move forward into answering some of those questions from the meeting. So I am from North Park Water, which is the utility that serves Machesney Park and Roscoe and a couple of the other tertiary areas. But we serve roughly 33,000 people, and so we obviously have the very important job of making sure that we have reliable and safe drinking water to continue to provide day. So basically why we are where we are and why we're asking for the piece of land that we're asking for are two kind of critical things that I'm going to answer. So basically why here and why now is essentially what I'm going to answer. So why here, the most specific answer I can give is the water that for some reason is in that square foot of land is of great quality and of great quantity. We've got two other wells in a very close location to here, and for some reason both of those are primary pumpers of our entire utility. They're both able to serve about 4,400 gallons per minute, which is quite a lot of water. Most home utilities can serve about 100 gallons per minute, maybe 80 gallons per minute, but 4,400 is what we can serve. Other utilities around here like Rockton, Loves Park, and Rockford are generally in the deep aquifer, which is 1,000 to 2,000 feet in the ground, costs a lot of money to get to, and also costs a lot of money to pump it out. So we wanted to stay where we tend to be, in the shallow aquifer, which is about 100 to 200 feet in the ground, which is much cheaper to construct, also much cheaper to pump out of the ground. So that means that we can continue to serve the water that we do at the high quality, high quantity, and low cost. So relative to other utilities in our area, we're on the very, very low end, and we try to stay there because we understand the need of our community. So that's why here is great quality, great quantity. The other thing I wanted to touch on, in your packet, you have obviously the diagram that you saw a couple weeks ago. To the east of there, I think we talked about this a little bit, is one of our other wells, so we call that one well 3. What this will do is start to create a campus for us so that if we do have to put treatment on the campus, it's all localized. So investment would be one larger investment rather than multiple individual ones. So that's another reason that this location specifically is ideal for us, is as regulations change, as water quality might change, we've got the ability to expand if needed, and then we don't have to have multiple pilot sites all around the utility. So why now is the next really critical question. So,
So Kelly, real quick before you go on with that piece, because I know this is what you originally went over at the last service meeting. Can you also talk about, because I know we adjusted it a little bit based upon the questions that we had got. Can you go over that piece right now? Is that okay?
Sure, yes, I can do that now. So one of the asks from the business services meeting was, can we make that larger parcel smaller? So we met with our engineering team several times actually to talk about what options do we have to make that smaller. We were able to eliminate about 20 feet of that, which I get.
So this is different.
It is different.
I do appreciate that,
Yes.
that extra 20 feet.
Yeah, so what that kind of conversation sounded like is there's a lot of technical things that are happening on that back end there, and what we didn't want to do is landlock ourselves too much so that if advancements in regulations or advancements in treatment technology occur, that we're not stuck then having to move all of our wells somewhere else in order to get that campus. So what this will do is not only obviously create room for us to bring in those transmission mains that we talked about, but it'll also give us space that if need be, we're able to provide treatment if necessary. Does that answer your question? Okay.
It does.
Okay. Thank you. So then for the why now, just to kind of regroup on why we're even here, why we're asking for this. So within the last 2 to 3 years, we used to have 4 primary drinking water wells. And what has happened is as regulations have changed, as we've started to see some contamination from the southern areas, we've lost 2 of our primary drinking water wells. And we immediately, as soon as we saw some of our sampling, spike, we took them offline. So going from 4 primary drinking wells down to 2 is a pretty significant drop for us in resiliency. And so the blue and red graph that you'll see on the front piece of paper that I gave you demonstrates that as of right now, with 2 drinking water wells, we're able to meet max day demand, which is, obviously the maximum day that we pumped, but also double that, which is what we're regulated to be able to provide. The unfortunate thing is if either one of those wells goes out, so catastrophe, natural disaster, mechanical failure, anything like that, we're turning into this red zone. And me personally, I'm not comfortable with that being the reality. So that's where the additional well is being proposed from, is we want to make sure that we've got resilient supply, we're able to pump as much as needed during any given day, and that we're able to continue to obviously serve our mission of supplying ample drinking water to our community. One of the other things that I believe I did not touch on when I mentioned having multiple treatment plants, if we were to resurrect isn't the term, but bring back one of our wells that we had to take out of commission, what we would need to do is basically install roughly $14 million worth of treatment at that site. That $14 million is just for that site and does not contribute to the other 2 sites that we have. So if regulations change, if contamination change, those other 2 sites that we have would have no treatment available, and we would need to develop those as well, which would be, probably in the $30 to $40 million range. So this $14 million is then transferred into roughly 5.5 for the new well. That would give us transmission main, new well, building, all of that. For us, the biggest thing is obviously we're regulated by the EPA. So we have to make sure that we're in compliance, meeting regulations and all of that. So obviously this project has progressed to, I would say, we're 20% of the way through design, specifically because we have to make sure that the EPA is A-okay with what we're proposing. If they're like, we don't like the site, we don't like how close it is to a different well, we don't like the idea in general, we want you to retreat somewhere else, we have to cut it off and just move on. So just noteworthy why we're at where we are at this point in time, obviously asking you midway through design, is because we have to make sure with the EPA that we're good to move forward. The other exciting thing is this project, this proposal, also has $3.7 million of grant funds attached to it. So if we are able to continue and purchase the land from the school district, we would be able to utilize $3.7 million of grant funds. Obviously that goes a long way for a project that's $5.5 million. Fingers crossed we get more in the new year, but so that's why here and why now. Obviously we talked about the change to that we were able to make based on the business services comments. Did I miss any comments? There's a lot.
I'm not a lot today. Not like I was the last meeting. So my only thing, obviously I'm looking at this agreement and I don't know, I don't read legal, but my only other, that was the same concern. That sidewalk right there is pivotal to moving our kids to and from school.
Yes.
As long, I don't see it in here and I don't know if it would be put in there, but mornings, after school, we don't have any trucks crossing that.
So
Is it in here? Because if it is,
I don't believe that was something.
does it need to be in here? Or is that good for a verbal? That's my only concern now.
So you want to make sure that during construction, we're not moving through there?
Not, yeah.
Okay, yep,
So
so.
make sure. Before school and after school, for a time frame that we maybe talk to the principal with or whatever.
I mean, what about post-construction? Like, where are the fences? Like, is that sidewalk not gonna be included in the fences then? Because there was some talk about fences at business services,
Yep,
so.
so one of the
There'll be a driveway that goes up to it, not a fence.
Okay.
So what our engineers are planning to do, actually are already in the process of doing, is making sure that within our bid specifications, we've got notes that say not permitted to be used as a through road during these specific times. And I have to get with Dr. Yarborough to make sure we know what those times are, maybe even add a half hour to the beginning and end, just to make sure we're, there's no late students. Obviously, truancy doesn't seem to be a huge issue here, so.
Well played.
So obviously making sure that we've got space for those kids as well. I did have our engineering team put in, there's this weird little gray stripe down the right side. That will be our alternative access during that period of time. And so that also gives our operations team, if they needed to get to the well, let's say there was some catastrophe going on there, and they're like, we gotta get there. Instead of them going through that route, we're gonna have them go the back way and get there that way.
Perfect.
So, yeah, we did address that.
Thank you.
Fencing, so, there's so many lines on this thing, I know. But if you look where the well is gonna be, so there's the little hatched circle, there's a square around that. That's what we plan to fence once it's final. Obviously, that's gonna be a little bit different during construction, but we wanted to limit our fencing area so that if kids, families, whoever wanted to use some of that land to watch a game or park their chairs maybe in our driveway during a game, we would be entirely okay with that. So we wanna make our fencing as small as possible.
Okay.
So similar to our, our work at Rock Cut, we had to meet and we had to talk about perfect times to come in, do work. We actually made a sidewalk over at Rock Cut for the kids, so we'll have that similar conversation as well.
Absolutely, yep, and obviously if the IGA is to pass this evening, we are still committed to making sure we're working with the school district on, how we use this land effectively and with the least interruption possible.
So all of this land,
Yes.
other than the well site with the fence around it, is still accessible to the school district, and it will have no impact on the solar panels or any of the things that are around it. So if the kids even wanna play, like when I came up here tonight, they're playing soccer or ball games or something all the way out to the residential sites, these are not gonna be any impact on the entire field or just that portion of the field, or?
There will be a access drive
During construction.
on that, like northern portion of the land here, so I learned this is called a flag lot. But on the stem of the flag, that's where the access drive would be. We talked about in the business services meeting that we would be willing to, what they do a lot of times with IGAs is lease backs. So we would lease the land back to the school district for $1 or something. Have to actually put a monetary value to that, and allow us to still use the land. Obviously not during construction, that's gonna be fenced off during construction, and there's gonna be a lot of dirt and pipe fish, all that stuff that we wouldn't want kids playing anywhere near, but we would be willing to do that if the school wanted it. I mean, we're gonna be kind of in a strange location for the field wise, so I don't know that, you can put soccer posts anywhere back there, but I think
Rebecca,
we're willing to.
Sorry, the one thing at business services, because that came up, I talked to the building during the day, they don't really let them go on the north side of the solar panels, and the other question that was the boys club football, and so I spoke to the person that runs that too, and they're gonna be okay that way, so. And I called Forefront about the solar panels to make sure that we were good there also, so.
Thank you.
So definitely a team effort, so it was good. Any other questions for?
Just a comment, I appreciate the fact that all the work to do this, to save $10 million plus of taxpayer dollars, don't bury the lead on that one, it's great.
Working really hard for that.
Yes.
So you're using, right now, you have 4 wells?
Technically 4, 2 of which have been taken offline, so we have 2 operating wells.
So you've got 4 wells, why are you calling this one well 7?
Because we had well 1 back in 1955, which was actually purchased from a residential utility owner. That one has been removed from the system because it wasn't a great pumper. Well 2 is one that's been decommissioned. 3 and 4 are ones that we currently use. 5 is a decommissioned one, and 6 is one that we inherited from, I believe it was Hananiga Estates many, many years ago. It was actually 6 and 6A, there was 2 wells. And both of those have been decommissioned. That one had VOCs, so we kind of removed it from the system in, I believe it was 2008.
VOC, sorry.
Yes.
Acronym, I don't.
Volatile organic compounds.
Oh, all right, all right.
VOC is bad.
Not
You don't want to drink them.
No.
Sold.
You do not want extra VOCs on your drink.
Yeah, and we didn't usually use it, so that one was one, back in 2008, we were like, there's no point in this considered treatment here, we're just gonna, we inherited it, so we just decommissioned it. But, so that was up to 6, and this will be well 7.
Got it, very good, thank you.
The history of our wells.
So Kelly, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for accommodating.
I appreciate you guys having us again.
Dr. Garber, can I add one thing? Just because it's been a few years since I've had, but I want to, as she's here, I want to thank Kelly and Crystal from North Park Water Department. They really are a great partner to the district in the sense that they do a lot of things to support our students, and you may have seen this in our newsletters, but The last handful of years, they've been purchasing water bottles for students in our district at the elementary level. But they also run an art contest for their CCR report, which I don't remember what that stands for, but their consumer something report that goes out. And so they have an art contest that they do for the schools that are served by their water districts, and they select a winner to be the cover of that report that gets sent out to all of their consumers. But they also reward kids that participated, so we have class winners and all that type of stuff. And so they really, from the get-go, or from my time in my role, have been a great partner in that way and looking for ways to connect to our students and support our students. And so, thank you for that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bloom. So again, my recommendation would be to approve an intergovernmental agreement with North
Motion.
Park Water. For the sale of land, thank you. That would be my recommendation.
Quick draw over there.
Oh, man.
All right.
Okay. I need a motion and a second to approve the personal agenda and addendum.
Motion.
No, with no addendum.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me.
Second.
Sorry. Ms. Hastings, aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Excellent.
All right, and we only have the one travel request?
No travel.
No travel.
No, we don't try that.
Okay.
No facility, yeah.
We had a facility.
We have one facility request. Motion and a second to approve the facility request.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye.
Motion and a second to approve resolution declaring surplus property.
Motion.
Second. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye.
So we don't have anything that we need for this land? We have no ideas that we want to do for the future?
No, this is good.
If we need it back, we get it, release it for $1.
Unless
Except
you
for
wanna
that little
start
square.
Not 100.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the intergovernmental agreement with North Park Water Department for the sale of land as designated?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye. All right, I need a motion and a second to go into executive session to go over security procedures 5 ILCS 120-2C8.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. McKnight?
Aye.
Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hastings? Aye. Mr. Sterling?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
All right, we're going into closed session. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.